Hi and welcome to Discover Oklahoma. I'm Lauren Nelson.
And I'm Dean O'Lally. Our destination for today's show is the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa.
We're taking a look at their exhibit called Americans All. This is drawn from the museum's permanent collection and showcases the many positive contributions immigrants have made to American life and culture. It also features 4 contemporary local immigrant artists. We'll show you around throughout the show.
But first, we're going to take a look at some of the history of Native Americans.
Specifically, the Cherokee tribe and its law and order. Photojournalist Casey Kennedy takes us to Tahlequah to check out the Cherokee National Prison Museum.
This building was built in 1875, and it tells the story of the Cherokee Nation's crime and punishment pre-Oklahoma statehood. So when visitors come to this museum, they can learn about Cherokee Nation's passion for reformation. When you came here, you just didn't sit in a prison cell, you actually learned a skill. So you can walk through the cells that were here at the time and learn about that history that was here. When Cherokee Nation was removed to Indian Territory, they set up their constitutional government in 1839. And after that, reestablished their 3-part government, much like the U.S. government today. And so as part of that, they had a court system, and as part of the court system, they eventually adopted a penitentiary where they could sentence criminals for crimes. And so Cherokee Nation was, we like to think, a little advanced in the fact that their prison was not just about punishment, it was really about reformation. So you could come here, learn a trade, and hopefully go back into society with some trade like a blacksmith or some trade you may learn here. The history at this prison is really unique. It's a great piece of Oklahoma history. This was the only penitentiary in what was Indian Territory, what would later become the state of Oklahoma, until 1906. And so this was really the only place where, during that time, there was a place to send prisoners. One of the things you also learn here at the prison is usually the high sheriff actually lived on site at the prison, and usually if he had a wife, she may have been employed to cook and to prepare meals for the prisoners. So there was kind of a family unit that actually stayed here on site. And the prison actually used to have a 3rd floor, which was removed after it operated as a county jail. But that 3rd floor housed the sheriff and his family. And so they actually stayed on site here, and the family actually helped to contribute to the prison itself as well. The Cherokee National Prison really gives a great example of Oklahoma history. It really gives a place to connect to an early era history that people may not know about. The prison actually has the prison itself and then an interpretive center. The interpretive center tells the stories that are associated with the prison but not directly. So you can learn about the modern day Cherokee Nation law enforcement, our modern marshal system. You can learn about outlaws that maybe not have stayed in the prison, but you would know some names of that have some stories there that were prevalent in Indian Territory during the time. You can also walk through the prison cells and kind of see what games were played here, how did prisoners pass the time, what trades did they learn while they were here. All of those things are shared here in the prison. We offer a program called the Cherokee Passport Program. This is a program that you can get at any of our museums. It's set up like a passport. You get a stamp at each location, and it takes you to the Cherokee National Supreme Court. You will learn history about the Cherokee Nation court system, Cherokee National Prison, our John Ross Museum in Park Hill, Sequoia's Cabin Museum in Sallisaw, the life of a legendary statesman, Sequoia, and then the Cherokee Heritage Center as well.
We got the pass. We went to the Cherokee Heritage Center, and we went to John Ross because it's part of our heritage. Went to all the places they have on that pass. And you just pay $15, you get to go to all of them. So we were excited.
So the Supreme Court Museum is actually the oldest government building in the state of Oklahoma. It was originally built in 1844. It was originally built as a Supreme Court. It actually housed the Supreme Court of the Cherokee Nation, and then later served as a district court, and then later as the offices for the Cherokee Advocate, a paper that was published in both English and Cherokee and distributed to Cherokee Nation citizens. Right in a lot of people's back door from Oklahoma, you can come within an hour, a couple hours drives, and you experience this history that you had no idea about. And that's what people are really surprised to see, that the Cherokee Nation had this sophisticated government, and Cherokee Nation throughout history has really taken care of its people. And that's what these buildings and museums tell us the story of today.
You'll find the museum at 124 East Choctaw Street in Tahlequah. It's open 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. There are also great stories to be told at the Oklahoma City Zoo.
You betcha, there's a new exhibit there that highlights endangered animals from Asia, and we were there for the opening.
1, 2, 3.
And with that, the new Sanctuary Asia habitat officially opened. A colorful group led the visitors to the new expansion area. Along the way, beautiful flowers and waving flags elevated the excitement expressed by Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt.
I mean, this is amazing. It's like Jurassic Park. I mean, I can't over exaggerate how impressive this is.
These new animal habitats with panoramic views and vistas are the result of an incentive put in motion years ago.
Our zoo is really one of the world's best zoos, and thanks to the voters of Oklahoma City who approved a sales tax 30 years ago for this. And there's a benefit that comes back to us, not just the amenity that we all enjoy and our families enjoy, but yeah, we have a lot of visitors.
Visitors can now see new homes for some of the zoo's favorite animals.
I mean, so many of the animals that are featured in Sanctuary Asia are critically endangered and disappearing, and so we'd like to, keep introducing, keep that front of mind with everybody and educate and inspire them to help us take care of them.
Sanctuary Asia takes in the elephant pavilion built in 2010, now with over 14 acres for the zoo's Asian elephants, Indian rhino, Komodo dragon, and the sleepy red pandas.
And then we brought in a number of new species as well to feature some additional animals from Asia. So we have Francois langurs, which are a endangered primate, so a smallish monkey. And then cassowary, which is a cool ostrich emu-sized bird from New Zealand with a bright head and everything.
And don't forget the Burmese black mountain tortoises.
We've got this great, expansive, two-story restaurant that'll be open every day. And then it was designed with special events in mind, so you can rent it out for the evening and have a really cool event with the animals here at night, or rent out the top floor and have a corporate training session or something like that.
There's even splash fountains for the kids.
Red panda.
Everyone has their favorite animals that they want to see, but thanks to the new Lotus Pavilion restaurant, you can take a break and get something to eat.
I like the fine dining in here.
It is very easy to find your sanctuary at the Oklahoma City Zoo's newest habitat, Sanctuary Asia.
Oh, it is awesome. It's definitely something that's totally different than anything else here. And it definitely kind of upped the bar on what you can see when you come here and get the full experience.
This is a world-class facility, like one of a kind. I've never seen anything like this before. You should definitely take the trip. It's totally worth it.
The Oklahoma City Zoo is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. You can find out more about admission and other exhibits and events at their website, okzoo.org.
Coming up on Discover Oklahoma.
People today are very hungry for an experience and for somebody that cares, some service that is meaningful.
The Central Oklahoma getaway that just might leave you breathless.
I think it's amazing. Best thing that's happened to Tulsa in years.
And the spot in Tulsa that has everyone talking.
People know that they're going to get the same thing today that they got 30, 40 years ago.
And the taco tradition that has folks hitting the highway for Ponca City. It's all coming up right here on Discover Oklahoma.
Create your ultimate Oklahoma bucket list with this year's free Oklahoma travel guide. Discover captivating culture, heart-pounding adventure, ultimate relaxation. This bucket list can't be missed. Order yours free today at travelok.com.
The Oklahoma Department of Agritourism salutes Goddard Christmas Tree Farm in Norman. Pick the perfect tree here.
Welcome back to Discover Oklahoma, coming to you from the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa, where we're checking out the Americans All exhibit. This is one of the legendary museums here in Tulsa.
And there's another spot here in town that's quickly becoming one. Jason Grubbs is now going to show us where all the action is at the Gathering Place.
A lot of people have been really excited about the opening of Tulsa's new Gathering Place.
I think it's amazing. Best thing that's happened to Tulsa in years.
The 66.5 acres is filled with lush landscapes, playgrounds, water features, and restaurants. And there's no shortage of ways to break a sweat. The south end of the park is dedicated to active sports like basketball, BMXing, and skating. You'll find 5 sport courts at Gathering Place. Whatever your passion, there's a place for you. and plenty of room for spectators.
I've been dreaming about skating a real pool bowl with tile since I put skates on, so I'm very excited about it.
The skaters out here I talked to say the design is actually done really well. In fact, it's done so well that they've actually improved their skills in the short time that it's been open.
It's a really good addition to all the skate parks that we already have, and it's helped a lot of the kids progress, and myself.
How often do you guys come out here?
Every day. Yeah, just about every day. Yeah, it's pretty tight. I like it. It's nice and open. Yeah. I think everybody should come check it out. There's a lot to do.
At Tulsa's Gathering Place, I'm Jason Grubbs for Discover Oklahoma.
The Gathering Place is entirely free to the public, but there are costs associated with rentals and to buy food or drinks. The park's address is 2650 South John Williams Way in Tulsa. They're open every day 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., but attractions and some of the buildings may have separate hours. And that looks like a great place to visit.
Yes, it does. And another great place to spend some time relaxing is one of Central Oklahoma's premier bed and breakfasts. Quinn Tran takes us to Norman's Montford Inn.
It has a soul. It has a life of its own. I think an inn should have a sense of person and a sense of place.
Built in 1994, the Montford Inn serves as a bed and breakfast in Norman, Oklahoma. The charm of the house makes visitors feel right at home.
People today are very hungry for an experience and for somebody that cares, some service that is meaningful.
Phyllis Murray and her son William own and operate the Montford Inn. It's a beautiful bed and breakfast that offers 9 private rooms in the inn. The rooms have their own bathrooms and closet space. The family's Oklahoma roots and Native American heritage are reflected in some of the decor. Cozy cottages are also available for a couple's getaway or family retreat.
All our cottages have 2-person whirlpool bathtubs and separate walk-in showers and big king-size beds. And I kind of look at it like you go to a restaurant and you have a menu, meaning you have lots of choices.
The inn provides all the comforts of home, modern conveniences like free Wi-Fi, and of course, included in the stay is breakfast.
This morning I served blue corn buttermilk pancakes made with blue cornmeal and whole wheat flour, side of fresh fruit. We always have our Tahlequah smoothie. And it is blended. But I tell people all the time when they're trying to help themselves to coffee, I say, oh, let me get that, it'll taste better that way. And they look at me like, what are you talking about? No, I promise you, when you're being served, it always seems to taste better. And so even if it's a cup of coffee that I'm helping pour, it seems to taste better. And it's kind of like the little magic fairy dust that we do and like to take care of our guests and help them feel special.
The Montford Inn is located in a quaint and quiet neighborhood. It's within walking distance of downtown Norman and the University of Oklahoma. People from near and far have stayed here, including movie stars, dignitaries, and world leaders.
We send a lot of people up to Oklahoma City too because of cultural and whether it's art or historic places of interest, whether it's the Myriad Gardens, Cowboy Hall of Fame, National Bombing Memorial. There's a rich history here.
This family-owned bed and breakfast has made a name for itself over the years, known best for the warmth, comfort, and Oklahoma hospitality.
Our guests mean a great deal to us. Each person that walks through our door is welcomed and is cared for. That's what we do, we care for people.
In Norman, Oklahoma, Quinn Tran, Discover Oklahoma.
The Montford Inn is at 322 West Kanawha Street in Norman. You can check out all the options at the Montford Inn by visiting their website, montfordinn.com.
Coming up on Discover Oklahoma.
I've developed this little, need for it.
A need for cheese.
A need for cheese.
We're headed to a top spot for holiday cheese.
Taco burger.
And we're talking tacos of every kind coming up when Discover Oklahoma continues.
Want to discover even more about the show? Go online and watch Discover Oklahoma anywhere, anytime. Catch up on missed episodes, track down interesting locations, and submit your own story ideas. Start exploring today at discoveroklahomatv.com.
Welcome back to Discover Oklahoma, coming to you from the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa. This is a great place to bring friends or family who are maybe visiting Oklahoma.
You bet, and with the holidays approaching, there's a good chance of that.
That is true. So how about a visit to a holiday tradition for many? Split Log Farms right here in Tulsa.
I mean, this cheese is to die for.
Split Log Farms is creating quite the cheese craze.
I've developed this little, I don't know, need for it. A need for cheese.
Robert Little is the big cheese behind this artisan blended cheese shop. Here, he creates creamy custom cheese logs using a recipe his grandfather perfected in the 1930s.
He taught my mother, and my mother used to give it out at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I'd go with her and people would go, "Oh, Ann, you should sell this product, you know, it's so good." And then I got injured at work, I couldn't do that job anymore, so I thought, well, I'll try making cheese and selling it.
With some help from Kitchen 66, Little recently opened Split Log Farms, naming it after another entrepreneur in the family.
It's named after my 3 times great-grandfather, Matthias Splitlog, and he was the chief of the Seneca Cayuga Nation. And he was the first self-made Indian millionaire.
The cheese logs are handmade out of a cheddar or Monterey Jack base. Each is just over a ½ pound.
It's made with love. You can tell every single roll is made with love.
The original is cheddar with roasted Oklahoma pecans.
We use Meyer pecans from Muskogee for the pecans in our original, and they are awesome to work with. And they help me a lot. So I'm really glad to work with them. I try to do everything I can as much local as possible.
You need to try the original. You need to try that. It is so good.
You'll find nearly a dozen varieties of different cheeses here, and if you're not quite sure which one you'd like the best, I have good news. They have free samples. Thank you. Flavors run from sweet to savory to spicy.
I like the spicier ones, really. And it's just because cheese needs a little spice to go with it.
The Coco Loco is probably my absolute favorite. It's a chocolate cheese.
I think the Tuscan tomato and the jalapeno, but the cranberry, I'm gonna take the cranberry home and see what that's like on like animal crackers. You know how you kind of get the sweet and salty and stuff like that? So I like them all.
Cranberry, jalapeno, and the original are top sellers. Split Log Farms also sells a few products from other local vendors like coffee, soap, and pepinade.
My son put some of the pepinade on a ball of horseradish cheese, and he melted it on a steak. And it had the pepinade marinade on the steak also with the horseradish cheese. And I know people have told me they love doing that.
Split Log Farms, where an Oklahoma family recipe has turned into a slice of the American dream.
And I love doing it. You know, I wish I would have done this years ago.
In Tulsa, I'm Julie Chin, Discovering Oklahoma.
You'll find Split Log Farms at 3140 East 15th Street in Tulsa. They're open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. They're closed on Sundays.
Up next on Discover Oklahoma.
This is just one of the oldest establishments here in our city, and it brings people in.
Decades of diners can't be wrong. We'll show you the place you've got to stop if you're headed through K County when Discover Oklahoma continues.
Whether you love the day or enjoy the night, this is the land of color and light. Cities stretch out and buildings stand tall. Music and games entertain one and all. TravelOK.com has all this. Come see for yourself or you'll miss what you miss.
We've had a great time today exploring here at the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa.
And you know what time it is, though, that on the way home we were going to have to stop and get a bite to eat.
That's right, and there's nothing that hits the spot quite like an incredible taco. There's a spot in Ponca City that's absolutely worth the drive. Let's check it out. For 45 years, Taco Stop has been serving up delicious Mexican food in Ponca City. Now 45 years is a big number, but listen to these other astounding numbers Taco Stop has churned out.
45 years, at 100 tacos a day, that we've probably made about 1.5 million tacos in those 45 years. Ground beef, we cook up an average of 400 pounds of ground beef every week, and figured over 45 years that was about 900,000 pounds of ground beef. It's kind of mind-boggling, but when you do it one day at a time, it doesn't seem that big a deal.
Randy Trant and his family have built this Ponca City staple over the last 4 decades.
Well, my dad was in the restaurant business his whole life, the whole time I was born and growing up. And when I was away at college, he bought this restaurant here, and it was a Taco Grande franchise at the time.
Randy came back home after college and began working at his father's restaurant, and the rest is history.
We make everything basically from scratch every day. Tacos is our main item. We have quesadillas. Our burritos are very popular. Taco salads. We have dinners, mainly a taco dinner. All the dinners have refried beans and salad on them. And we make 3 sauces here. We have a mild sauce, hot sauce, and an extra hot sauce.
Customers come in droves to get their fill of Taco Stop's famous tastings.
There's just something about it. It has its own little, flair and flavor, and we just keep coming back. Well, I like to get the refried beans because they've got lots of cheese in there, and you can mix it up, and that's real yummy. I usually get the tacos.
Everything is great. I recommend the taco salad or meat Sancho with chili and cheese. Those are my favorites.
Top sellers at Taco Stop include the tacos, quesadillas, and there's a favorite among the kiddos too.
Taco burger. We just put some mild sauce on it, and we have some meat and lettuce and cheese.
So what's the secret for such a long, successful business? Randy says it's all about consistency.
People know that they're going to get the same thing today that they got 30, 40 years ago. My dad, who bought this place, he always told his sons in the restaurant business that if you served a good product in a clean place at a fair price and gave people good service, they'll always come back. And that's basically been our motto all these years, and it's worked.
So make the trip to Ponca City and try this legendary restaurant that has been a staple for generations of folks in Kay County.
This is just one of the oldest establishments here in our city, and it brings people in.
And no matter where your next road trip takes you, the new Discover Oklahoma Dining Guide will help you find a great place to eat. Just log on to our website, travelok.com, and click Request Free Brochures to get your copy.
A huge thank you to the fine folks here at the Gilcrease Museum for hosting us this week. If you're interested in the exhibit we've highlighted today called Americans All, Plan Your Trip, the collection of work showcasing positive contributions immigrants have made to America is on display through 2019.
And coming up next Saturday on Discover Oklahoma, how to hit the water at an Oklahoma State park even if you don't own a boat.
And a new addition to the Old Mother Road. We'll show you around this hot spot on Route 66. It's all coming up next week right here on Discover Oklahoma.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover in Oklahoma.